There are an absolute insane number of games on the Nintendo Switch. Tons of great ones, a fair number of really bad ones. But there are a lot that have flown under the radar that maybe are a lot better than you would expect, that nobody bought, and now you just kinda can't get them. Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I do play all my games randomly. And here are 8 games on the Nintendo Switch that you probably missed, but hopefully you can find a copy of, and you should definitely add them to your collection if you're able to. Great title. Arcade Love plus Pango. I know, it's a great title, right? Rolls right off the flippin' tongue. Everybody knows about this game. There's not a word of Japanese on this entire freaking box anywhere. So what is this game? It is a compilation of 3 excruciatingly rare Japanese arcade games, plus Pango, just like the title said. Now, I'm not going to explain what Pango is. It's an old school, like Atari era kind of arcade game where you're a penguin and you push blocks around. It's not that great. Arcade Love is the first game on the compilation, and it is really unique. You play as like a rip-off Power Ranger and several other kind of strange characters, and all of the stages in the game are designed around seeing how good you are at arcade games. How fast can you tap a button? How fast can you double dash forward? How fast can you blow up all these explosive barrels? Those sort of things. It wants to see your physical prowess when playing the game. The second game included is Shmups Skill Test. You guys know I love shoot 'em ups. It's my favorite game genre. This has a lot of different stages centered around just dodging, or how fast you can kill the enemies, how many one-ups you can get, things like that. These games are designed to train you on becoming a better gamer in the arcade. The final game included is Combat Zeal. It's very similar to Shmup Skill Test. Same sort of thing, you're testing your skills, and in all of these games, when you get to the end, it ranks you on your gamer age. If you come in as a 57-year-old, well, maybe you're just not a good gamer yet. You come in at the ideal age of 17, I believe, well, you're a top 9. You're a 1%er. This is a really interesting game, and I think it is the rarest game on the Nintendo Switch. It took me months to even track down a copy anywhere. I've never seen another one in the wild anywhere. I've never met another person who's ever heard of it. But it's an unbelievably cool game. I think they maybe have reprinted it. It's not the $1,000 anymore that it was at one point. If you haven't found a copy of this and you like old arcade games and you like quirky and weird stuff, this is as quirky and weird as it comes. You gotta get a copy of this. I can't help but feel like this is gonna be the stadium event of the Nintendo Switch. It's just so weird, and I see a lot of games, and I haven't seen this anywhere else. Other than the time I watched Phoenix Resale skip a copy of it. Shout out to Caleb. Back in the Xbox 360, PS3 era was really when we first started seeing digital-only releases on game console. And this one came out, and it was probably my favorite one that came out of that entire generation. Then when the PS4 came out, we started seeing games like Limited Run Games, Strictly Limited Games, all these other companies that control the supply and demand of digital titles put on physical discs. And this was the game I wanted to come out more than any other game from the previous generation. And the publisher of the game, they just printed it themselves and put it up on the website. They didn't even really announce it. I think maybe they posted a couple times on their Twitter, but Limited Run Games didn't put this out. It was only for sale from the maker of the game. And it's Castle Crashers. Now, this game had crept up to like $350 at one point. I think they printed more copies of it. You might be able to go grab it right now. But what is Castle Crashers? Well, it's a 4-player beat 'em up that came out in a time when there weren't really any beat 'em ups coming out at all. And all of the people that grew up playing them, well, we were just starting our careers. We were searching for things to play that reminded us of our childhood, and boy, did Castle Crashers do that. There are tons of cute characters with different skills and different abilities that you can level up. It's so much fun to play with your friends. And the behemoth that developed this game has a real quirky and weird sense of humor that really helps them to just kind of worm their way into your brain. There's so many set pieces from this game, like the giant critter that chases you by like spraying diarrhea behind itself like a jetpack, that I just can't get out of my mind. I love this game. I'm so glad that I have a copy of it on the Switch. I will probably never open it because I still have it on the Xbox One and the Xbox 360 digitally. So I'll play it there. That's also where my save games are that I put like 100 hours into. But if you haven't played Castle Crashers and this looks good to you, you should track this down. And if you can find the physical copy, hopefully it's still for sale. But don't hold me to that. Well, grab it that way. Support the behemoth and support physical games. This next game is actually a cell phone game that was ported to the Nintendo Switch, but don't let that dissuade you from playing it. I bought my copy at GameStop. It was a budget game for like $20 when it came out, and I was blown away by it. It's Into the Dead 2. This is a first-person shooter that's an auto runner, like Subway Surfers. You can't stop. You just proceed forward no matter what you do. And zombies dash out at you. They try to grab you. They try to bite you. And you have to blast them away. Now, the game basically has like auto lock on aiming. It just pretty much runs straight ahead. You can veer left and right a little bit, but you're trying to get through the area to go save your daughter. This is one of those moving the goalpost kind of games where you're like thinking you're getting to the end. Your daughter's held up in the warehouse right on the other side of town. You get to the warehouse, oh, too bad the zombies broke in the middle of the night. We had to move over to the old mill on the other side of the next town. So the main character, he can't drive. All he can do is just run at the same speed everywhere he goes. He run to the old mill. Oh, too bad we didn't make it to the old mill. Now we're at the old abandoned water park. It's just that over and over again. It's a cell phone game. It was made to sell you little DLC packages. However, there's none of that on the Switch. It's just all of the DLC dumped onto one cart. And I loved this game. I had so much fun with it. It's just mindless. Grabbing the different weapons is great. I just thought this is such a unique idea for a game. I've never seen anything like it. If you haven't tried this and you like zombie games and you like mindless first-person shooters, this is the most mindless of them all. You gotta give this one a shot. I hope you can find a copy. I hope it's still out there and it's still relatively cheap. Let's move away from the mindless fun of just running and killing zombies. Let's move into something more intellectual. Let's talk about Gorogoa. Now, this game was released by IM 8-Bit. They're known for putting out what my parents would call artsy-fartsy style games, and this is definitely one. Now, I want to showcase something on this physical copy of the game. I've never seen this on any other piece of media, but right on the back of the box is a window that actually looks through the game cart to the artwork inside. And just that one little detail sums up perfectly how this game plays. It's a puzzle game that tells a heartbreaking tale of sadness and loneliness and desperation and abandonment, but also overcoming those things. And it tells it through perspective, not only intellectual and mental and emotional perspective, but also through visible perspective. See, as you're looking at these static images on the screen, you can zoom into a window and it will take you to a whole different area of the level that's outside. Or you can back away and the thing you were looking at, you realize is inside of a picture. And you're having to manipulate different objects in the environment to finally figure out how to work your way through this perspective challenge to move into the next area and unlock the next part of the story. It's very touching. You can beat it in just a few hours. It's an unbelievable game. I haven't heard anybody talk about it since I played it, but it really touched me emotionally. I loved it. I loved the gameplay. I love the art style. I'm so glad IM 8-Bit decided to take a chance on a game like this and actually put it out. If you haven't played it and you like touching stories with a little interesting twist, you should definitely give Gorogoa a shot. Thank you so much to the Patreon and channel member supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon member or a channel supporter, you can do that in the description down below. There are tons of people out there that love Star Wars, or Harry Potter, or Lord of the Rings, or the AFC West versus the NFC North. It's an NFL joke. Whatever the case is, wherever your allegiances lie to your very particular specialty and love, they do not hold a candle to the lore of the Warhammer universe. That's right, we got a freaking series of books and games and memorabilia that goes back, I think, to before Star Wars, has more entries and just more physical crap involved with it than anything I've ever seen. It's insane. People that are into Warhammer are more into that than any other fan group I've ever seen. I've heard multiple people say that having a drug addiction is a lot cheaper and easier to handle than trying to play Warhammer, and I 100% agree with that. So if you got to get your Warhammer fix in the cheapest and less debilitating way you can, I recommend this game. It's Warhammer 40K Boltgun. Let's get rid of the lore. Let's get rid of painting the little figurines. Let's get rid of making tabletop terrain to play Warhammer 40K. Instead, let's grab our bolter. Let's throw on a retro-themed skin onto a normal first-person shooter, and let's dive in boomer shooter fashion and absolutely annihilate the whatever the bad guys are in Warhammer 40K. The chaos. There's the Tyranids. Is that it? What Eldar? Is there that they're bad guys? They're against the Space Marines, right? I don't know. I haven't played Warhammer since I was like 12. I think I know what's going on. Okay, I like Warhammer, but this game looks incredible. I'm really surprised this runs as well as it does on the Switch, and I know that it's probably better on the PC. I don't think it came out on the PS5. Maybe it did. Prove me wrong. Let me know in the comments how wrong I am. I know you will. You always do. But this game looks incredible. If you like boomer shooters, if you like fast-paced Twitch-style shooters, I mean, this is it, dude. This is what you want. What isn't to like about this game, other than the fact that I couldn't find a copy of it for 6 months, and I had to wait for the PAL version from Europe to get a reprint, and then I had to wait for Play Asia, who is in Hong Kong, to import it from Europe to Hong Kong, and then I had to buy it from Play Asia and have it shipped all the way to the United States. This game was everywhere for like a month, and then it was nowhere for like forever, okay? So if you haven't picked up a copy of Boltgun, you might want to do that. Warhammer stuff tends to like either fall to the bottom of the barrel, or it's like lifted into that rarefied territory where you never see it again. But regardless, you should play this game 100%. It is a great time. I've enjoyed the little bit I've played of it. I can't wait to dive into it and finally beat it. Speaking of having to import crap all the way from Asia, let's talk about a Japanese-only release. It's the Taito LD game collection. Now, I know you're looking at the cover of this and you're like, what the freaking crap is this game? What is this game? RNG? What are you even talking about? What does LD mean? Well, let me tell you what LD means. It means laser disc. That's what it means. It means laser disc. If you grew up in the 80s or the early 90s and you walked into an arcade, there were very many awesome games beeping and bopping all around in the background trying to grab your attention. And the one that would always grab your attention was Dragon's Lair. Why? Because it looked like a real freaking cartoon. Why did it look like a cartoon? In a world where everything else is just 16-bit pixelated garbage? Well, it was a cartoon. It was a hand-animated, drawn cartoon. It was basically just a bunch of QuickTime events, but it played off a laser disc, and it looked incredible. Well, they released a bunch of games like this that were never as big a hit as Dragon's Lair, but this is 3 of them. What 3 games, you may ask? Well, let's find out. Hey Google, what 3 games are on the Taito LD game collection?
On the website play-asia.com, they say, a collection of 1980s masterpiece LD games that includes the 3 Taito Laserdisc games, Time Gal HD Remaster, Space Battleship Yamato HD Remaster, and Revenge of the Ninja HD Remaster.
Thank you, Google. Well, you heard it there from the source, the giant AI hive mind itself, Google. That's right, that's what is on there. I couldn't remember. I remembered Time Gal and Spaceship Yamato, but I couldn't remember the other one. The laser discs that are put on this Nintendo cartridge, well, it's in Japanese, but from what I understand, a lot of it is voiced in English and it is totally playable in English. I've seen multiple sites claim that you can play this in English. Maybe it's not all in English, but you can still play it. You can fumble your way through it. It is just a bunch of QuickTime events after all. I think this is still up on Play Asia. If you like these old kind of games, this is like the only way to play 2 of these. Time Gal, I think, came out on the Sega CD, but that's the only one, okay? You gotta play these this way. Or get you an arcade laserdisc player, I guess. Do people still do that? I know people still collect arcade games. I know people that do it, but I don't know any of them that have the laserdisc players. That seems like a rabbit hole I would not ever want to go down. Talking about crap breaking all the time, man. That's insane. That's like investing in clockwork Zeppelins. Like, what do you do for fun? I restore and I fly clockwork Zeppelins. It's just like 9 million parts to break every day. Whatever the case, play this. And that brings us to our last game. It's a Metroidvania. People love Metroidvanias. I love Metroidvanias. You love Metroidvanias. But you're always trying to stop something or someone. What if you had a Metroidvania where you're trying to stir up a bunch of crap? You're the monster. The game is Carrion. Now, what is carrion? I love that word. Well, carrion is the dead animals that like scavengers like buzzards and vultures eat. And you know what the carrion is in this game? Us. We're the carrion. We are the researchers in a facility that created a monster, and by God, that monster broke loose, and he's going to exact his or her or its vengeance by eating and destroying and absorbing everything. You're a big tentacle monster. I love it. A Metroidvania where you're trying to escape and kill everything in sight. What a great idea. And this game looks incredible. Just the way that the monster like twists and turns and rides through little narrow corridors as it unlocks new abilities and gets into new areas and stuff. That's so freaking cool. This was put out by Special Reserve Games. I believe it only came in like its special edition as most games they put out back then did. It's got that real interesting matte sort of textured finish to the box that is heavily damaged by rubbing it against other games on the shelf. Not a lot of people picked this one up, even though it did have some hype around it when it came out. This is just one of Special Reserve's early releases, and people just didn't really notice it come out. I haven't seen this around anywhere myself. I had to buy my copy from a friend that needed some money. It's the only time I've ever seen it. Thanks for selling it to me, by the way. But this is a really interesting game. It's hard to innovate in the large, oversaturated Metroidvania genre. That's what every indie game is these days. Metroidvania, or it's a Souls-like, or it's a Souls-like Metroidvania, not this. You're the enemy. Congratulations on coming up with a new idea. Now everybody's ripped it off like 50 times, but this is the original. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you liked the video. If I've earned to do that for me, subscribe, leave me a comment. I answer every one of them, and give me a like. That's the best way to help me with the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you guys next week.